Chairman. Good morning. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, there being one preliminary matter on the AM docket, number 7, Higgies, 1184 Cleveland Street, a Class BD7, application to transfer ownership. That matter has been postponed. All parties will be notified as to the new date and time of the rescheduled hearing. The very first on the AM docket, I call the case of Damien Costa and James Weisgerberger, 26 Insulator Drive, licensee LLC, trading as Nick's Seafood House, Nick's Fish House, 2600 Insulator Drive. This is a Class B, a beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B, beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-903, small c2, small ii, requiring $500,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities and seating capacity for a minimum of 75 people. A request for live entertainment and outdoors table service. Please come forward.
Ms. Hecker?
Good morning. Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg, Martin Greenberg. On behalf of the applicant, I'm joined by my colleague Justin Williams, as well as Jim Weisgerber, one of our licensee applicants. Mr. Costa was not in town this week. He's not able to be here today.
Good morning. Can you raise his right hand, please?
Sir, do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and information you believe?
I do.
Just as a preliminary matter, I just noticed this morning on the agenda that the board has this down as a new license under 12903. This is actually a new license under 1216004. It was a new 1216004D Romanet 5, actually, which was just enacted in the 2017 General Assembly session to provide for a new Class B license in Port Covington for seating with more than 150 individuals. It requires a capital investment of $700,000 and average daily receipts from the sale of food of at least 60%. So with that, the licensed premises is 2600 Insulator Drive. It's located in Port Covington. It includes a restaurant, a bar, an outdoor seating area, and a marina. A restaurant and bar has been in operation at this site since 1984. We've included in the file that Mr. Williams has handed out an aerial photo and a Google Street View image of the existing location. The existing restaurant was also approved for live entertainment by the BMZA back in 1998, and I've included a copy of that approval as well in the file for your record. The bar that's known as Nick's Fish House and Grill opened at the property originally in 2003. It was transferred in 2015 to new ownership and renamed Nick's Fish House. So that Mr. Weisgerber and Mr. Costa have been the operators and the licensees at Nick's Fish House since 2015. And since that time, they've made significant investments in the existing restaurant location. They've done some renovations. And after having the BD7 license for the last 2 years, they've realized that they really don't need a BD7 license there anymore, and they would meet the requirements for a new Class B license. So what they've decided to do is transfer their existing BD7 license to a new restaurant in Port Covington, which is also on the agenda for later this morning, and apply for a new Class B license for this location. We're not anticipating any changes to their operation. What they're doing now meets the requirements of a Class B license, and so we're just proposing to retain the same licensed premises and the same operations, just with a B license instead of a BD7.
Yeah, I had asked the staff about this beforehand because obviously they have to transfer the one license before they can acquire the other. And while we're hearing this first and the other one later, if they're both approved, the license won't be issued until
Correct.
Everything is
Yes.
in compliance. So, okay. Is there anything further?
Oh, yes, of course. Don't be silly.
Of course there's more.
Of course there's more. Nick's Fish House is a waterfront beach bar-inspired restaurant. It offers a contemporary seafood menu. I've included a copy of that in your file. As I said, following the change of ownership in 2015, it underwent extensive renovations. There's a restaurant review in the file from the Baltimore Sun talking about the change of ownership and the successful restaurant experience that has occurred after that. We've also included some interior and exterior photos of the existing restaurant. There are in total 498 seats in the restaurant, which includes 184 interior seats at tables, which are what you count for purposes of the seating requirement. There are 298 seats outdoors, which includes 260 seats at tables and an additional 38 seats at the outdoor bar. The licensed premises also includes the marina, which includes 186 slips that's proposed to continue to operate in the same manner that it has always operated in. Their director of operations is a gentleman named Ken Chase, who has over 30 years of restaurant experience. He's certified as a tips trainer, and he has experience in operating restaurants ranging in size from 50 seats to 550 seats. As I mentioned, the zoning board approved live entertainment for Nick's back in 1998. We're proposing to retain that same operation. They have small bands a couple of days a week. Their hours of operation are 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday. The restaurant in total represents a capital investment of over $6.4 million. They employ about 189 people total in both full and part-time jobs. There's a copy of their capital investment breakdown in the file. They spent $5.9 million approximately acquiring the site. They've spent about $289,000 in hard costs doing renovations to the site since 2015, and an additional $221,000 in soft costs associated with those renovations and the acquisition. With regard to the Class B license requirements, it does meet the requirement of seating for more than 150 individuals. As I said, there's a total of 498 seats in the restaurant, of which 184 are interior seats at tables, which are what is counted, so that exceeds the 150 seating requirement. The minimum capital investment of $700,000 is exceeded by the total capital investment of $6.4 million. And the average daily receipts from the sale of food being 60%. Right now, for the last 2 years, their average daily receipts have been about 73%, which is really what caused us to realize that we could operate under a Class B license, and we really don't need the BD7 that we've had. Mr. Costa and Mr. Weisgerber are proposed to remain on the license. They've both been on the license since 2015. There have been no violations since that time. Mr. Costa is our Baltimore City resident. As I said, he's out of town this week. Mr. Weisgerber has been integrally involved in the day-to-day operations of the restaurant. And as I said, they've both been on the license since 2015 without any violations. There is a public need and desire for the license, as demonstrated by the General Assembly enacting legislation this spring that would specifically provide for this type of license in Port Covington. We don't expect it to have any adverse impact on the number and location of existing licensees. In fact, the only other restaurant in Port Covington that is currently on the table is Rye Street Tavern, which is on your docket for later today, where they're proposing to transfer their BD7
I wanted to ask you that. So this Port Covington project, which is to be developed, how many existing operations are there within that?
There is very little there right now. Most of what is there is, former industrial sites. The first major project there was the distillery project, which is completed and operational. The Rye Street Tavern restaurant is the next piece of that phase. There is, several million square feet of mixed-use development that's proposed over time, but most of it is still, out in the future. Most of it is still unbuilt. This is between Nick's and the Rye Street Tavern are the only restaurants that are operational there right now. And Rye Street hasn't opened yet.
Anything further?
As I said, this is a unique operation down there. Right now it's the only restaurant in Port Covington. We don't expect it to have the issuance of a B license here to have any negative impact on health, safety, or welfare. As I said, they've been operating with a BD7 license, and this will basically be a step down to a B license. They haven't had any violations. We don't expect there to be any problems going forward. So we would request that the board approve the issuance of a new Class B license for this location.
And what's the ownership breakdown on the license?
The ownership of the license is in a company called 2600 Insulator Drive.
Oh, I
licensee.
see. So it's
The individual licensees are both authorized individuals of that LLC.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
I guess my only question is currently, are there any residential?
There's no
There's
residential
nothing.
anywhere in the vicinity right
Yeah,
now.
'cause this used to be Bethlehem Steel, or close to
Near
Bethlehem
Bethlehem Steel.
Near.
I think Nick's was never part of that
It was
site.
never on that property.
Yeah.
So right
But very
now.
near it.
Near it, right.
Yeah.
Well, Insulator Drive, I mean,
Right.
I think
It's
back
all,
when I was.
it's all sort of an industrial wasteland down there
It's
now.
all, it's all mushed together. I mean, back
Yeah.
when I was doing asbestos
Unfortunate
litigation. Well, it's a name for a reason. It tells a lot about the history of the area. But right now, there are no residential
That's correct.
or community associations that would
There's nothing
even
down there right
speak out
now.
about this. And so far as you know, the plans, I'm just like looking ahead, Do you know if there are plans to have residential communities
There is,
nearby?
Port Covington does include a residential component. There'll be multifamily residential proposed at some point in the future, but I think we don't have a timeline on that yet.
Yeah, I mean, because this is a big operation.
Obviously, yes.
And it's a successful operation,
Mhm.
and we would want it to continue to thrive. But anyway, that's looking ahead. All right, that was my only question. Oh, wait. I looked at the map with the layout and then the aerial. From what I can tell, there's going to be food service and alcohol service in a number of different,
I'm not familiar with this.
oh, that was part of the application. Or
This
it was,
may have been something that was in the liquor board's file from an earlier.
oh,
application.
really? Okay.
But the, maybe to answer your question, Nick's does serve alcohol from several different bars within its licensed premises. There's an indoor bar and an outdoor bar. There's restaurant seating inside on 2 levels. And the licensed premises does include the marina area. You could take a drink out onto the dock.
And that was the next question. They would still be able to have people order from the bar and take it out to their boats?
Yes,
or
they
the
can't
slip?
take it to go on their boat, but they
But it can be served?
served outside,
Okay,
yes.
gotcha. All right, thanks.
Okay. On the basis of the information contained in the application, the proffers from council, the evidence that's been submitted to the board this morning, I would vote to approve the application for the new Class B license.
I would as well.
I concur, and I've just been to the site. I think it holds tremendous promise, and I know that they've invited community folks to have festivals. I think it's great. Wish the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Yes, good luck, sir.
Exhibits for the record.
Can I say something? Thank you very much.
Oh, I don't know.
Your eye candy.
You're welcome.
Just say that it's approved subject to the,
Yes, to the, subject to the transfer of the other license, yes.
Yes, thank you.
I'd like to call the exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, business plan. Thank you.
Great Cash, Photo, and Ashley Orifice, Man Kamada LLC, trading as Bel Air Discount Liquors, 3600 Bel Air Road. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Mr. Kadensky?
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky. representing
morning.
the applicants. Good morning.
Folks, would you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
For the record, this is a transfer of an existing license on Belair Road. The current owner, Ms. Poonam Suri, is going on to other endeavors. Mr. Poodle has worked there for the last 2 or 3 years, so he's familiar with the location. He's not going to make any changes. Same hours of operation, same employees are going to be there. He, besides working, and they've had no violations while he's been working there. Ms. Suri, I think, was transferred to her sometime in 2014. And he's been working the last 2 or 3 years. And prior to that, he worked at another liquor store up on Monument Street for a couple of years that was a relative of Ms. Suri. He has taken the alcohol awareness course. I have a copy of his approval. I'll give this to Ms. Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You received?
As mentioned, the hours of operation, he's familiar with the people in the neighborhood. He's been there the last 2 or 3 years. And the current applicant's, the city resident, she does not have any real experience, but she'll be pitching if they need her at various times to come in, serving as a city resident. Other than that, it's a transfer of an existing location.
Okay, and that's Ms. Orfice? How do you say your name?
Refugees one.
Okay. And you understand that when you are working there, that you have to be very careful about serving minors, and I guess Mr. Pudel, is that how you say your name? That he will be ordering the alcohol and that sort of thing. You're not going to be doing that? Okay. Commissioners have questions?
So, Mr. Bedell, your plan is to be there full-time, is that?
Yes.
And what are the hours of operation?
We
And speak
operate-
up and into the,
we operate 9 to 10.
9 a.m. to 10 p.m.?
10 p.m.
Okay.
and Friday, Saturday is 9 to 12, and Sunday we close.
Okay. And you've been at this location
Yeah.
for about 3 years?
Yeah,
2 to
since
3
they took over 2014, around May, around there from May 2014.
Okay. And what did you do before you went into the liquor
Oh.
sales?
I have a college degree,
Yeah, you went to college?
yeah,
Okay.
chemical engineering.
In,
You went from
From College
chemical
Park.
engineering to running a package goods store?
I've,
yes?
Okay, don't be ashamed. There are
no,
people-
it's my choice.
There are appellate judges here.
No.
that are-
It's my choice.
So you were a college student, got a degree in chemical engineering, and then, and how old are you? Do you mind my asking?
Hmm?
How old are you?
30.
30, okay. All right. Okay, those are the questions I had. Thank you.
There's really no questions I can possibly ask a chemical engineer, but thank you.
Okay, so I think Mr. Konetsky mentioned this, that we have no history of violations, we have no letters in opposition or support for that matter, and based on the proffers from council and the testimony this morning, as well as the materials contained in the application, I'd vote to approve the application for transfer.
I join in that.
I'd concur, just a note for the record, there is a violation, I recognize it wasn't when Mr. Prudell was there, according to
It was 09 before. the
09,
Prior.
but that was before, yes, but I concur. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, alcohol awareness certification. Thank you.
Alexander Mandel, 1606 Whetstone Way, licensee LLC.
Thank you.
1606 Whetstone Way. This is a Class B beer and wine liquor license, an application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment and outdoor table service. Please come forward.
Good morning again, Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg, Martin Greenberg. On behalf of the applicant, I'm joined by my colleague Justin Williams, as well as the
Morning.
licensee applicant Alex Mandel and Kyle Algaze, who's the general manager of the proposed restaurant.
Gentlemen, will you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
I do. Ms. Hecker?
This is an application to transfer the Class B license that was most recently held by Green Turtle in the McHenry Row development in Locust Point to Alex Mandel and 1606 Whetstone Way licensee LLC for use by the Iron Rooster, which is proposed to go into that location. The proposed license location used to be 2 separate restaurants, Green Turtle and Piazza. This is the Green Turtle's license. Piazza also had a license, and that license we think is likely to be transferred to another tenant elsewhere in McHenry Row. In the file of exhibits that Mr. Williams has handed out, you'll see an aerial photo that shows the McHenry Row development. Just to orient you a little bit, the proposed license premises is about where this little coffee cup is. McHenry Row, if you're familiar with it, is located in Locust Point. It opened in 2011. It was the site of Baltimore City's first Harris Teeter grocery store. There are also about 250 apartments and other retail and restaurant uses within the project, which includes this like Main Street area. The Harris Teeter is back here, and then there's a Phase 2 project over here that also includes office. There's another residential building that's just about to open, as well as another office building and a hotel, which are about to begin construction. The proposed license premises is going to be operated as the Iron Rooster, which is a very popular breakfast destination based out of Annapolis. They have 3 locations currently, Canton, Hunt Valley, and Annapolis. They're sort of famous for their homemade Pop-Tarts and chicken and waffles. There's an article in the file from the BBJ talking about how they made the top list of brunch spots in America. The floor plan is also in your file. You'll see that there is seating for 136 seated patrons at tables, as well as a bar with 15 stools. There are 28 outdoor seats proposed as well, which are shown on the second page of the floor plan. Iron Rooster, as I said, is known for its brunch menu, but they are also open for lunch and dinner, and their menu is included in the file as well. There's also a review of their cocktail service from their Canton location from the Baltimore Sun in the file as well. Mr. Algaze, who's here with us today, is the restaurant's general manager. He has over 15 years of experience in the restaurant industry. He'll be responsible for the day-to-day operations. Live entertainment is proposed to continue at this location. It was approved by the zoning board in 2012, and a copy of that decision is also included in the file for your reference. Their hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and on Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. They do have a policy of carding everyone who orders an alcoholic beverage, and all of their managers and staff will complete the alcoholic beverages safety training course. The restaurant represents a capital investment of over $350,000 in privately funded investment, and it will result in approximately 100 jobs being created. Mr. Mandel, who is our individual licensee applicant, is a Baltimore City resident. He's the authorized individual of 1606 Whetstone Way licensee. He, in his day job, works for the landlord entity, so the landlord sort of has a little bit of oversight over the restaurant operations. Iron Rooster has not had any other violations, and certainly at their Canton location. Mr. Mandel and Mr. Algaze are familiar with the rules and regulations of Baltimore City Liquor Board, and they agreed to abide by them. With regard to the criteria that the board is required to consider in terms of the public need and desire for the license, under the alcoholic beverages article, 3 Class B licenses are authorized in the McHenry Row development. This is one of those 3 Class B licenses. The other 2 are held by World of Beer and Ruby 8. We also have a petition with signatures from residents in the McHenry Row apartment buildings in support of the transfer of the license. As I said, there are other existing restaurants within McHenry Row and within Locust Point, but we don't expect that this will have any negative impact on them. As I said, 3 Class B licenses are authorized by state law. We do believe that the Iron Rooster offers a uniqueness of services. As I said, it's a unique brunch spot. It's been very successful in their Canton location as well as their other locations. And we don't expect it to have a negative impact on health, safety, or general welfare in the
Well,
community.
I don't know, that says they're fried chicken and waffles. I mean, don't we have an
It comes
obesity
with an
problem?
angioplasty.
No, not when it comes to fried chicken and waffles. That's good.
And so with that, we would request that the board approve the transfer of the license.
Grilled peaches, I'm worried.
Commissioners, oh, that sounds good.
Doesn't that sound good? It sounds
Especially
delicious.
this time of year.
Yeah, we should go there for lunch.
Commissioners?
I don't have any questions. I just noticed that with the, I always read the petitions. I just noticed Sophia Silbergeld is one of the signers, and
Yeah.
if she supports it, it's kind of hard to say no.
Well, there you have it.
In full disclosure, we're friends, but it sounds wonderful. It really does. No questions.
I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffers from council, testimony we had this morning, as well as the exhibits that have been introduced and received, I would vote to approve the application.
I vote to approve.
I would concur, and I'm probably the only one up here who's been. You guys do a great job, so good luck.
Good luck, yes. Sounds wonderful. I'm not so sure about the waffles.
Give it a check.
I actually did try it once, but it's just, it's a lot.
Cup of tea.
I'm working on it. I really am.
Maybe with tomato sauce.
No.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, business plan. Board Exhibit 1, petition of support. Thank you.
You're too funny.
Lori Weishorn, Harbor East Partial D, Rooftop Dining LLC, trading as Bygone Restaurant, 400 International Drive. This is a Class BD7, Beer 1 liquor license. An application to transfer ownership and location of a Class BD7, Beer 1 and liquor license,
Thank you.
presently located at 1928 Fleet Street to 400 International Drive, and requesting live entertainment and outdoor table service. Please come forward.
Thank you again, Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg Martin, on behalf of the applicant. I'm joined by my colleague Justin Williams, who has handed out a folder full of exhibits for you all.
Good morning again. Can I ask these folks to raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and information?
I do.
Thank you.
And we are joined for the record by Lori Weishorn, who is our licensee applicant, as well as Alex Smith of Atlas Restaurant Group, who's our restaurant partner in this. This is an application to transfer the BD7 license from 1928 Fleet Street, which was Bad Decisions in Fells Point, to 400 International Drive, which is the Four Seasons building. Procedurally, the BD7 license ceased operations on August 25th, 2016, and the board approved a hardship extension on March 16th of this year. We filed this application on May 2nd, so it's still within the hardship extension period. Also, just procedurally, the licensed premises is located within Ward 3, Precinct 3. where, of the 46th district, where there are certain restrictions on the ability to transfer a license, but the transfer of this license is authorized under two of the exceptions to that rule. One is for properties that are located within the Inner Harbor East Urban Renewal Plan, and I've included in the file that Mr. Williams has handed out a copy of the map from that plan that identifies this property as highlighted in red.
So this is the rooftop.
This is the rooftop, yes.
Has there been a place up on the roof before?
No. So the licensed premises will be up on the 29th floor of the Four Seasons Hotel. The hotel building is 21 stories. It opened in 2011. They have just recently completed construction of 8 additional floors, which are going to have 62 condominium units. The 28th floor will be amenity space for the condos, and then the 29th floor will be open to the public and will consist of this restaurant, which includes an outdoor terrace area. There's an aerial photo in the file that Mr. Williams handed up that shows the Four Seasons building. This was taken while it was still under construction, but you can see the additional stories that are being constructed. The sales price of the sales pace, excuse me, of the condominiums has been tremendous. They're very pricey, but they're selling very quickly. It was reported in the Baltimore Sun, and there's a copy of the article in the file, that the average sales price for the units that are under contract is $2.5 million.
And how many floors are going to be condos?
6. There's 6 floors of condos, 1 floor of amenity space, and then 1 floor of the restaurant space above the hotel. So the total building is 29 stories tall. The property is also located within the Harbor East Planned Unit Development, which authorizes restaurants with live entertainment by right, and I've included a copy of the PUD ordinance in the file as well for your reference. As I said, this restaurant will be up on the 29th floor of the building. There is a copy of the floor plan in the file. It has seating for 325 customers spread across a dining room, bar, lounge, and a mezzanine whiskey library. The large seating capacity is the main reason that we're seeking a BD7 license in lieu of a Class B license, which would have a very heightened food sales requirement for a restaurant with a seating capacity of over 150 seats. We had originally also, just for the record, this case had been scheduled for a hearing several weeks ago, and we had requested a postponement because we thought we were going to amend the seating plan. We didn't end up making any changes, and so the seating plan that you have in the file that was handed up to you today is the same seating plan that was in the file, in the application that was submitted. The restaurant also includes outdoor terraces up on the 29th floor that'll have really great views of the city. I don't know of any other rooftop restaurants that are up that high. I think it really should be.
It's enclosed, I take it.
The restaurant is enclosed, but there is an outdoor space with a railing, obviously. No one is going to topple over the edge. The Atlas Group has great experience running high-end restaurants, particularly in Harbor East. They operate Azumi and Lock Bar in the Four Seasons Hotel. They also operate Ouzo Bay, which is also in Harbor East. We've included in the file some interior renderings of the proposed restaurant, which is under construction right now, as well as a press article from the Baltimore Sun about the proposed restaurant. The menu is still a work in progress. It's not ready for publication yet, but we expect that it'll be very, very high-end. We are proposing to have live entertainment, as I mentioned before, which will consist of a DJ as well as some jazz brunches. Obviously, this restaurant's going to be on top of very, very pricey condominium units, and so everything will be kept at a level that will not disturb any of the neighbors. We have a policy of carding any patrons who appear to be under 35 years old. All of our managers and bar staff will complete the alcoholic beverages safety training course. The restaurant development represents a capital investment of about $6 million, as well as the creation of about 75 new jobs. Ms. Weishorn, who's our licensee applicant, is the authorized individual of the licensed entity, Harbor East Parcel D Rooftop Dining, LLC. She's also a Baltimore City resident for over 25 years. Mr. Smith will be responsible for the day-to-day operations of the restaurant, and he is responsible for the day-to-day operations of the other restaurants in Harbor East as well. He's had great success over there, no violations in any of his other locations, and both of these folks are familiar with the rules and regulations of the liquor board and agree to abide by them. We do believe there is a public need and desire for the license. This is a one-of-a-kind restaurant experience up on the rooftop there. Really provides a uniqueness of services. While there are other restaurants in Harbor East, certainly this is sort of a different concept that is not intended to certainly put any of them out of business or have an adverse impact on them, several of which, as I mentioned, are operated by Mr. Smith himself.
Do you have a proposed opening date, or?
It's likely to be this fall. We don't have a date exactly, but it'll be this fall. It's well under construction right now. And we don't expect there to be any negative impacts on health, safety, or welfare. As I said, this is in a very high-end building.
No waffles.
And there's no waffles. Well, I haven't seen the menu. I can't promise there's no waffles. But, so that remains to be decided. But with that, we would request that the board approve the transfer of the BD7 license to this location.
Commissioners?
No questions.
Just a couple. Access. So you had mentioned that, people would have to obviously use the elevator
Yes.
up. So how is that, if I wanted to come, or if how do you is it just a free ride up?
There'll
or
be
is there
an-
certain areas that are blocked?
The public will not have access to the condominium units. There'll be separate elevator access specifically for the 29th floor.
And will Ms. Weishorn be there? What's her schedule going to be like? And
Ms. Weishorn is, in her day job, works for the landlord entity, so that sort of gives the landlord entity a little bit of an element of assurance that there won't be any misbehavior on behalf of the license.
no further questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the exhibits which have been received this morning, your proffers, and any testimony that we've received, I'd vote to approve the application.
I vote to approve, and I'm just, thinking the amazing investment that's happening in Baltimore. It's pretty tremendous. I attended a conference yesterday where the whole focus was what's going on in Baltimore and how are we going to have a better Baltimore, and a lot of it is investment in Baltimore and jobs. And it sounds like this project checks off both of those boxes. So I certainly approve.
I concur, and I would also second what Commissioner Moore said. This is critical. It's great stuff. We also, Mr. Smith has also recently opened Tagliata. And
Oh, yes.
A great investment, so I applaud you and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So all three of the projects that you've brought today check off those boxes. So
I think the next one will, too.
Oh, okay.
Call the exhibits for the record. Exhibit 1, business plan. Thank you.
Having said that, I call the case of Luke Ostrom and Adam Jen, Rye Street Tavern LLC, trading as Rye Street Tavern, 225 East Cromwell Street. This is a Class BD7, Beer 1 and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership and location of a Class BD7, Beer 1 and liquor license, presently located at 2600 Insulator Drive to 225 East Cromwell Street, and requesting live entertainment, outdoor table service, off-premises catering. Please come forward.
Good morning. Again, Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg Martin, on behalf of the applicant. I'm joined by my colleague Justin Williams, as well as the individual licensee applicants Adam Jen and Luke Ostrom.
Good morning. Would you gentlemen raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
So this is part 2 of the first case that you heard this morning, the transfer of the BD7 license from Nick's to the new restaurant that will be known as Rye Street Tavern. The license premises was originally part of a parcel that was known as 301 East Cromwell Street. It was recently subdivided and is now currently called 225 East Cromwell Street, but there is a bill pending in the city council that would change the name of the street to Rye Street, and once that becomes effective, the license premises will be known as 13 Rye Street. So I just want to make sure that we get clear the address of the property so that by the time we go and apply and actually have the license issued, assuming that it is approved, the address of the property may have changed by then. So I've included in the file that Mr. Williams has handed out a copy of the city council bill to change the name of the street. But at the moment, it is 225 East Cromwell Street. This is, as we have discussed, in Port Covington, which is probably the largest urban revitalization project that is underway nationwide right now. It has approximately 260 master planned acres. It's a mix of uses: residential, retail, office, entertainment, hotel. I've included in the file the sort of overview district plan showing the total Port Covington area and identifying where the Rye Street Tavern will be located. It's in the area called East Waterfront, and we've included some images, some rendering images that show what the restaurant will look like. It fronts on a park that will run along the middle branch of the Patapsco. This will be sort of the heart of the mixed-use retail district in Port Covington. The file also contains a rendering of the park area that was submitted to the city's Urban Design and Architectural Review Panel. It's all very conceptual right now, but this, is intended to incorporate some of the outside space as well. We've also included in the file a copy of the condominium plat. The licensed premises actually consists of 3 parcels, land units land units 2, 3, and 4. Land unit 2 is the restaurant building itself. Land units 3 and 4 are the outside space that includes some of that park area. The licensed premises is intended to include the outside space as well, so that we can host outdoor events, either for the community or for, weddings or what have you outside. The restaurant also is located next to the distillery building, which is under totally separate ownership and not affiliated in any way with the restaurant. The Rye Street Tavern has partnered with NoHo Hospitality Group out of New York to create this new restaurant. The idea for the restaurant concept is to harken back to the idea of the corner bar as a place for neighborhood gathering. It's intended to have a very cozy feel, and you can see some of the interior renderings that we've provided in the file. Shows a very cozy place to meet up with your friends and neighbors. The floor plan is also included in the file. It has seating for 202 guests, as well as 96 seats outside and 12 seats at the bar. It also, as I mentioned, will include the licensed premises will also include the outdoor area along the waterfront as well. NoHo Hospitality Group, which is our restaurant partner, is led by Chef Andrew Carmelini, Josh Pickard, and Luce Odstrom, who is here today. They have a reputation for high-quality service in New York. The group has earned 2 James Beard Awards and a Michelin star. They recently opened the Recapure Chop House at the Pendry Hotel in March of this year. The Rye Street Tavern will focus on American fare. Their menu is still a work in progress, but we've included an article from the Baltimore Sun about the proposed new restaurant in Port Covington. And we're seeking the transfer of the BD7 license in lieu of a Class B license at this location because we'd like to offer a small packaged goods component, and also because in Port Covington there is a higher food requirement. We think that the BD7 license, at least initially, is more appropriate here. Our general manager is a Maryland native. He has over 15 years of experience in the restaurant industry. He's been with the NoHo Group for the last 2 years. We are proposing to have live entertainment for the restaurant, which will consist primarily of a small house band or local artists, but we're intending to have it at a low enough level to permit conversation between patrons. Our hours of operation are not yet finalized, but we're planning to be open for lunch and dinner. We will likely close well before 2 a.m., particularly during the week. Our policy will be to card all patrons who appear to be under 35 years old, and all of our managers and bar staff will complete the alcoholic beverages safety training course. The restaurant does represent a several $million private investment in the city, to your point, Commissioner Moore, and will create about 120 new jobs. The individual licensee applicants are both authorized individuals of Rye Street Tavern licensee. Mr. Ostrom is the managing partner of NoHo Hospitality Group. He'll be involved in the day-to-day operations. I've also included in the file a Wall Street Journal article about their company and their successes in New York. Mr. Jen works for Sagamore Development Company, representative of the landlord. They're both familiar with the rules and regulations of the Baltimore City Liquor Board and agree to abide by them. With regard to the criteria for approving the license, there is a public need and desire for the license. The Port Covington project, this is really the beginning of the major investment that's being made in Port Covington, and having a high-end restaurant in Port Covington really will be a draw to bring more people down there. In terms of the number and location of existing licensees, as we discussed earlier, this is the BD7 license currently held by Nix, and they're obviously willing to transfer it to this location. They're the only other licensee that would be impacted by the issuance of a license for this location. It does offer a uniqueness of services. As I said, it's really the only luxury restaurant that's down there, certainly the only restaurant down there right now. And
How will they, they're going to be the only thing there, so.
For the
where will
moment, but they.
customers come from initially?
Well, we think it's going to be a destination. It's next to the distillery. We think people will come down to tour the distillery, hopefully stay for dinner. We think people will make a special trip to come down and visit the restaurant. It does have a great location. It's right there on the waterfront. It really is
It
beautiful.
seems ultimately it's going to be great, but initially it'd be like a ghost town, won't it?
Well, parking won't be a problem. And there won't be any neighbors to disturb, so we don't think it's
Those are
going to
good
happen.
things.
You got to look at both sides of it.
Okay, as long as they're planning for it. that's-
Your Honor. The glass is half full.
Anything further?
No, with
Commissioners,
that,
do you
we
have questions?
request the approved license.
I just have a question about the corporate structure and the lack of relationship with the distillery. What's Can you just explain that, why there is not a relationship?
Oh, well, there's not a relationship because there's not legally allowed to be a relationship.
so
The
they're-
distillery is a manufacturing entity,
Right.
and they cannot hold an interest in a retail license. And so we've gone to great lengths to make sure that the ownership is completely separate.
So
of the
there's no
distillery.
similarity of person, there's no similarity
At all.
nowhere on the stream?
No, they're
Okay.
completely separate.
Okay.
They're physically located right next door to each other, but they are in completely different
All
ownership.
right, so I got the corporate structure, but in terms of operations, will the distillery provide alcohol to the restaurant
No,
under
all
a separate
alcohol has to-
agreement?
No,
Or no?
and that's also prohibited by
Okay.
law. The restaurant has to buy all its alcohol from distributors, not directly from the distillery.
Distillery.
And there is a prohibition on tied houses under the alcoholic beverages law, so they can't legally have a relationship, to provide alcohol or.
Okay, and so then my last question, will there be, if someone wanted to tour the distillery and then have dinner at the restaurant, again, that's just going to be a separate
Totally
little...
separate. So the distillery, if you haven't been over, you should go check it out.
I've been
It's-
intrigued by it, but I
it's-
haven't been.
So you'll see when you go in there that they have a small gift shop at the front, and they do offer alcoholic beverages, either Sagamore Rye, for sale there. But under state law, they can only sell a limited amount of alcohol to people who have taken the tour and gone through the distillery. They
You
can't,
have to do the tour.
yeah, they can't operate a packaged goods store. Someone could, in theory, go to the distillery, buy a bottle of rye after taking the tour, and keep it closed, walk across our licensed premises to the parking lot, and go home. They can take their
They can't drink in the car.
in their car. They can't drink it on the Rye Street Tavern licensed premises. They have to leave it closed. But, leaving it closed is really no different than if you were running an errand in a shopping center and bought a bottle of wine in a shopping bag and took it, with you next door to get your nails done. So, they're physically proximate, but they're not at all affiliated with each other.
Okay, all right. Those are my questions.
You had mentioned that Mr. Ostrom will be sort of the general manager. Did I hear that right?
He'll be responsible for the day-to-day operations. There's-
Great, come up if you could. I didn't note that you live in New York. So talk us through how you'll be a little more hands-on and present.
Certainly. Well, we have a pretty big structure in New York. We have about a dozen restaurants right now in 3 states, actually, mostly based in New York. And it's a pretty comprehensive central team of ours that helps us run all of our operations, whether it be accounting or human resources or real operations. And then each entity that we open, in this case, for instance, with our local partners, recently at Pendry Hotel, we work in partnership with them to run that property. In this, we are fully operating it, and we've brought down a general manager, a former Maryland native who's been up in New York for several years now, worked with us the last couple of years, and he's relocated with his wife and children back home to Baltimore, and will be running with our executive chef the property with us and our team, really doing a lot of Amtrak back and forth constantly. So.
Okay. Nothing
Anything
further?
further? Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the evidence that's been submitted this morning and received in evidence, the proffers from counsel and testimony, I would vote to approve the application.
I vote to approve.
I concur. Good luck.
Good luck to you.
I'd call exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, business plan. Thank you.
Gregory Trepperton, Sonia Trepperton, and Linda Shoemaker.
Could we-
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
And you just want to make sure we have that caveat about the transfer and the actual issuance of the license. Can we stay on the record for this one?
You mean just that it's going to be
just-
precede the other?
Right.
Yes,
If you just
yes.
make that clear.
Yeah, just to be clear, that license has to transfer before the other one's issued. Yes, thank you.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Mhm.
And Linda Shoemaker, Trepco Management LLC, trading as Bonchon Canton, 3500 Boston Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership and location of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, presently located at 148 Southeast Avenue to 3500 Boston Street, and convert a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for outdoor table service and off-premise catering. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Gadensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicants.
Can I ask them to raise their right hands, please?
You swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
I do.
This is an application for transferring a license from East Avenue. It's probably 7 blocks away from this particular location. Ms. Shoemaker is be 75 years old. She's just going to be the city resident. She's not going to have anything to participate in the business. I've probably known Ms. Shoemaker probably, 47 years. That's how long. This particular location here, if you want to, it's across the street from Canton Crossing, Old National Brewery, Gunther, that whole location there. I originally had a license for this establishment back in 2012-13 when it was Delmarva Southern Chicken that was there. They were there for, and they did have chicken and waffles, in case anybody wants to know.
When we go off the record, I'll give the judge a little history of chicken and waffles, and he'll want them after that.
I'm sure you
He'll
said
want to at
chicken
least
fried
try.
steak, though. I know you have, okay. Well, and this is application to transfer to the 2 individuals. They have met with the Canton Community Association. I think in your file, I'm not really sure from,
We have a letter from the Harbor Enterprise Center in historic Canton in support from Mr. Rosenberger.
that's the landlord, and also from Mr. Dan Tracy on behalf of the Canton Community Association.
Thank you, it will be received.
Thing. And the 2 applicants are husband and wife. They've been operating there since February of this year. And the problem they've had is a lot of people remember it was Delmarva's. They're coming in, they were telling me to have a 10-top, would ask to have a beverage or so forth, and they would lose the business. They are approved outside for outdoor table service. There's approved for 5 2-tops, small area out in front. They have taken the alcohol awareness course, and they are certified. And I have a copy of the menu. Let's see what kind of comments we get on this one here. This will be interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One to Ms. Russell.
Thank you.
As you can see, it is a little different than the normal menus that you would see in that area, but it's seems to be something that people are interested in. I think that you are aware of the area. They probably built 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 apartments in that area in the last year. I guess
The Anchorage and other places like
yeah,
that.
and the demographics are probably 25 to 45 people who are mainly married, don't have any children. They'll go out 2 or 3 times a week. They won't do your kitchen for an entree here. They like to play trivia, etc. The 2 individuals will be operating the place themselves 30 to 40 hours each a week. They have prior experience. The Silver Diner that had an alcoholic beverage license. Both of them have familiarizing themselves with the rules and regulations of the liquor board. They have taken the alcohol awareness course, and as they have previously worked in restaurants that have had alcoholic beverages. Based on the fact that the Canton Improvement Association and the landlord, the parties have met the requirements, I think it'll be a nice addition. Seats about 75, 76 people, so we can't jump over to the other establishment. Class B license will allow them to take this business model if they want to have another license somewhere else.
Commissioners?
I really don't have any questions. It sounds wonderful.
It's great. I don't really, other than a comment, I know that I live in Canton, and Canton community was all excited about your opening, and I know they'll, assuming we approve this, we'll be excited about this as well.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the submissions this morning, which have been received in evidence, the proffer from council, and any testimony, I would vote to approve the transfer.
I vote to approve.
Concur. Good luck.
Thank you.
We used to refer to it as Canton.
Canton.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, letter of support, Harbor Enterprise. Applicant, Exhibit 1, letter of support, Canton Community Association. Exhibit 2, menu. Exhibit 3, alcohol awareness certification. Thank you.
Andrew Podell and Brooke Perrin, Rudra LLC, trading as Donald's Place, 401 North Bunford Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, Frank Boozer on behalf of Ms. Pudell is present to my right.
Good.
I'm not sure if Your Honor received a message relayed to Mr. Actress last week. Ms. Perrin, who's the resident licensee, the 1% licensee, she's actually giving birth to her second child. She was actually due last week, and we were hoping everything would hold off, so I can
We've
tell
had
you.
a lot of that at the liquor board lately. The
I can
torch
tell you
is
her-
passing to a new generation.
And I'm not sure how excited her husband is after speaking with him, because this is their second child. But I'd ask you to excuse her presence. She's actually already been found on another license to be a fit and proper applicant, and has no criminal record whatsoever. So that being said, in light of the exigency of the circumstances, I'd ask you to excuse her from today.
Understood. Good morning. Can I ask Ms. Pudell to raise her right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and ability?
I do.
I do. So,
Okay. So can you tell us the background on this?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is obviously a transfer of a Class BD7 liquor license. Mr. Santosh Pudell, known for a number of years, her husband is here. He's a longtime establishment owner in Baltimore, obviously had no problems. And they are actually going forward and buying the property as well as the business. It's a family investment.
This in Highlandtown?
Yes, it is, that's correct. So Montford Avenue, I think that would be considered Highlandtown. It's going to be a family, as I said, investment of assets and resources. She's going to be able to run the establishment, is that correct, from 10 a.m. till 2 a.m.? Is that correct every single day? Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay. And if you have any questions, you've not only asked me, but you've also had the opportunity to consult your husband about the sale of alcoholic beverages, and you've actually worked with your husband at his store. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, quite simply, it's going to be the same exact establishment as it was before. I don't believe that this establishment has a history of any kind of violations of any kind. It's, as I said, mainly a real estate and business investment for the family.
No, I'm sorry. Has she worked in this place before?
She has not worked here. She worked at her husband's establishment
Okay,
before.
okay.
That is correct.
Okay.
That being said, I don't think we should have any concerns or problems. I think she's a fit and proper applicant. I don't think there'll be any concern with regard to the health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding community.
Has she
As I said,
taken the course?
She is scheduled to take it in the next week. Is that correct? The TAM certification course we talked about? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's going to take that, obviously, before we go to settlement on this. Of course, there is property involved, so the lien certificate division of Baltimore City Circuit Court's been taking a few days longer than usual. So as soon as we get that back, everything will be filed with the board in terms of filling out the rest of the checklist. Mr. Chairman, unless there are any other questions, that's really all we would have at this point.
Commissioners, do you have questions?
I have a question. Earlier today, we approved a transfer for Prakash Pudell. Are you related to him at all? No.
If I
You
may,
can't.
maybe you could expound on this a little further. Pudell is almost like a
like Smith or-
It's
okay.
it's rather ubiquitous name in the Indian community.
All right, but you can understand why I'm asking.
I actually heard that before, and I thought, wait a second, you're not related to Mr. Pudell who was here earlier, is that correct? You're not related to the person that was up here before? No, okay.
All right.
Is that a no? You can say no.
No.
No, okay.
All right. So one of the things I noticed when we ask questions, you look back to, this is your husband in the audience, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so you look to him for the answers. Are you aware that you're doing that? No. You're not aware. Okay, so it prompts me to ask that if we approve this license, do you feel that you have the capacity to actually operate and run this place on your own? Because your husband, I think I heard, has his own license and his own business elsewhere. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, can you just tell me a little bit about how you're going to run this place on a day-to-day basis?
You're just a little nervous, is that correct?
Oh, don't be nervous. Yeah, don't be nervous.
Harmless.
We're totally harmless. In fact, we had a giraffe here with us earlier today, and if you need some confidence, we can let you borrow the giraffe. It's a joke. Where's the giraffe? Is the giraffe still here? Yeah. So anyway, we're a pretty easy group.
If you just want to, tell Commissioner more about how you plan to run the business, just what your hours will be and things like that, I'm sure she'd appreciate you hearing.
Yes, I would like to hear
So
that.
go ahead and tell her. Yeah, you can tell her about your hours, how you plan to, manage your, I guess, family life and business life. Or you're just really nervous right now?
Yeah.
I think she's terrified.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe you could ask her a few questions.
All right. So can you tell me what your full name is?
Name?
Yes.
My?
Yes.
My name?
Yes, please.
Anju Podal.
Okay, and do you have a middle name?
Last name is Tu. Anju Silwal Podal.
Okay, and do you have children?
Yeah.
How many children do you have? 2? And how old are your children?
One is 6 and one is 2.
All right, so 6 years old and 2 years old.
I met both of them. They're very nice.
And you've met both, and they're probably lovely
Yes.
children. So when you're working, do you have plans to have someone take care of them during the day? Will they go to a babysitter?
No, actually my mother-in-law is coming.
So your mother-in-law will help out. All right. Do you plan to work at the Donald's place every day?
No.
No. Will you have someone helping you operate the business?
You'll be hiring staff and employees, is that correct?
Yeah.
And of course,
So
those
you-
will be vetted with the
My
board.
husband also help me.
And
And
your
your-
husband's also going to help you, is that
And
correct?
he's going to help and give you some advice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, those are the questions that I have. Thank you.
The only comment I have, and perhaps Mr. Boozer, you can help me with this, is we often see cases involving BD7s in our violation docket. And I just want to sort of alert the prospective licensee that when the packaged goods store is open, tavern ought to be open as well.
And Mr. Greenfield, I have had that discussion. Inherently, BD7s have been used in the past. The board's seen it, I don't know how many times, where they have a ghost, set of chairs, and then it's basically a packaged goods store. I've talked to my client about that, as I do assure every one of my clients that this is not the case. A BD7 is not a ghost Class A license. That the board will surely be checking on that they make sure that they are open and operating. If you're going to have I would call it a service establishment, that needs to be open the same exact time as the packaged goods establishment. This is not, as I said, a way to caveat our way into a packaged goods store.
Right. And I just want to make sure that, assuming Ms. Pudell isn't there, that the employees know this, because we're seeing too many of these cases in my.
I've seen it too many times myself, and like I said, it's usually, some people think it's a ghost way to get your way into a Class A license, which it clearly is not.
Anything further? Okay. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, proffers from counsel, and testimony received this morning, I would vote to approve this transfer. Ms. Padilla, I have to say, you seem shy and quiet, but you're raising kids, so I know that you have some backbone. You're going to be tested by your customers, because they're not always going to be easy. So I hope that you're up to that, but I vote to approve.
I concur with the chairman's comments, and I join in approving.
I approve as well. Good luck.
I'm going to get some chicken and waffles right now. How about that?
You've
Commissioner
earned
Moore,
it.
you made me hungry talking to
You've
you.
earned it. Yeah.
There's no exhibits for the record.
Again, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Is that our morning docket, Mr. Page?
That completes our AM docket, Mr. Chairman. We'll
Okay.
recess until 1 p.m.
Thank you.
Mr. Boozer.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. Now starts the PM docket for the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. Preliminary matter on the PM docket, case number 2, Pepper's Lounge, 5440 Reisterstown Road, Class BD7, here for violation. That matter has been postponed, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. All parties will be notified as to the new date and time of the rescheduled hearing. Number 1 on the PM docket, Kwong H. Choi, S&K Tavern, Inc., trading as Danny's Lounge, 4316 Reisterstown Road. This is a Class BD7, a beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.20C II, Class BD7 licensees, open and operating tavern at all times on May the 17th, 2017. Please come forward.
Would all of you gentlemen raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Are you Mr. Choi, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to admit that this happened on May 17, or do you want to contest this matter?
No, I'll admit that.
Okay.
Yes.
Will you tell me what happened?
I wasn't there, but my employee, Mr. Yun, was there. He told me soon after the inspector came to announce the violation. At the time of happening was a party going on by neighborhood. There was approximately 50 more people having party right across my store. And when the inspector tried to get into the bar, he was kind of feared once the doors open and all other people going in the bar, and it kind of like out of control situation. There was he refused the open the door.
So I'm confused a little bit. So there was a party in the neighborhood
Yes,
on
sir.
May 17th.
Yes, at the night.
And were the people from the party in your bar?
They coming in and out purchasing some of our drinks.
Okay.
Yes.
And so when Inspector Perez came in, Mr. Young was concerned about what?
He was a fear of once the door opened, then the customers in that same the packaging the department area to try to get in.
The package department would try to get into the bar.
Bar.
And what would be wrong with that?
Well, because that out of control situation. Once
Was there anyone in the bar taking care of customers?
No, sir. There's only Mr. Yun at the time to operate the whole
Okay.
facility.
Inspector,
Yes, sir.
what did you observe?
There were about 30 to 40 individuals outside of the establishment, surrounding the establishment, not directly in front of it. When inside the establishment, we requested a bottle of New Amsterdam peach vodka. I remember we proceeded to ask if we could use the bar, and we were denied access.
Were there a number of people in the package goods store when you went in?
No one was at the store at the time we walked in.
Oh, okay. And Mr. Yun said to you that it was closed?
Yes,
Okay.
we were told no
Okay.
once we asked to use the bar.
But he told you there were people in the package goods store?
Yes, sir. There was at the time. Yes, that's the reason.
Is he still employed by you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How long has he worked for you?
Approximately about 2 years.
Do you normally trust him?
He used to operate and own the liquor store. So he had many years of experience.
Okay. Does he understand that with this license you have to have the bar open?
Yes, sir.
But there's nobody who works there. The same person who runs the packaged goods is taking care of the bar.
Yes. Well, I'm on that place 31 years. It's my 31st years. The first about 15, 20 years, I had a barmaid, 2 full-time and 1 part-time. It's very good business on the bar side, but maybe trend is changed, and and plus all the crimes, and also my regular customers fade away, and I lost my bar business. So, be honestly, I open 9 o'clock, and I know the rules. I read for the accept all the customer at the bar to closing. So, but since the the bar business is down, I cannot afford any other extra employees. So I just hired 1 person take care of night shift. I work in day shift.
So Mr. Yun works at night?
Yes, sir.
Commissioners have questions?
So you open at 9 a.m. What time do you close?
1 o'clock, ma'am.
1 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And how often are you there?
Every day,
You're there every day?
yes.
And you're aware that you could get a violation on your license if you're open and the tavern portion is
Oh,
not
yeah,
open?
of
You're
course,
aware of that?
Of course, of
All
course.
right.
Here's my bar.
Is that, did you ever get to see the bar?
No, sir.
I'm not going to do any good to ask you. Okay. When were these pictures taken, Mr. Choi?
About months ago.
Okay, so this is how it looks
Yes, all the
now.
time.
All the time?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I did say that when I was king, I was going to move that bathroom, so it's not your fault. Okay, are these
Do you want
pictures we
to
can
make
keep?
them part of the record? Or do you want them back?
Oh, no, no.
Yeah, all right,
It'll
so
be
we'll make them
received.
as, all right.
I had my place visited by inspector regularly, and I don't have any the violation by inspector.
Is Inspector Perez the one who usually goes there?
No.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I don't think not him.
Their previous violations,
Been a long time. It was
yeah, one is in
2004 was when that
2004, and one in
happened.
2010. 2010 was sales to a minor. 2004 was for the same issue that we have today. Not open, the BD7, it was a violation of the BD7. The tavern wasn't open. It looks like.
Mhm.
Well,
And it was dismissed.
oh, was it? Oh, yeah, it was
Because
dismissed. The officer
was-
didn't appear. All right, I don't really have any,
any
I mean,
questions?
it is what it is.
So, Mr. Choi, you seem like a reasonable and responsible man. You've done this for 31
Yeah,
years.
member of a community association since.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that again?
I'm the member of a community association.
Your community
Are you?
association.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Also, about 10 years ago, I was an officer of the association.
Of-
Tuanda Community Association.
In the community where you're
Yeah.
located?
Yes.
You were an officer?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's great. I haven't heard that too many times.
Right. Well, myself, I'm involved in many of other activity.
Mhm. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was a commissioner under Governor Martin O'Malley.
Commissioner of what?
Of Asian Pacific Affair.
I'm sorry.
Asian
Pacific Islander
Oh,
Affair.
okay, okay.
8 years. And member of transition team on
The transition
Governor
team
Hogan, you
for,
and the mayor,
Oh,
for which mayor?
the people, this mayor.
Mayor Pugh?
For Mayor Pugh?
No, people,
Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you're a responsible man and a businessman, and so we respect you. We have to deal with the violation. It did occur. You admitted that it occurred. I would, on the basis of your testimony and admission, find a violation of Rule 4.20C small double I on May 17, 2017. We can fine you up to $3,000 for this offense. I'm not inclined to do that. But there has to be some sanction. So I would impose a $700 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
In a rare occurrence, I actually would do a lower fine. I would just do $500, and here's why. There were prior violations. They were some time ago. You've admitted that this happened. You weren't there. You understand the rules. I don't know that. I don't think closing you is going to make is going to be appropriate. So I would find the violation and impose a $500 fine.
Yes. Just one quick question. What are you doing to prevent this from happening going forward?
I did forget to let you.
I already obtained the rule and regulation by City Liquor Board, and I already taught him.
Okay.
Mr. Young?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, and
So Given that, I'd agree with Commissioner Moore. I'd find the violation and suggest a violation of $500.
I'll join my colleagues. Let's make it unanimous, 3-0. $500 fine plus administrative costs. You have 30 days to pay, sir. And make sure it doesn't happen again, okay?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, Commissioners.
Ready to call the exhibits for the record? Board Exhibit 1, Investigation Report, Chief Inspector Karanakolis. Board Exhibit 2, Inspector Report, Chief Inspector Karanakolis. Exhibit 3, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Inspector Gatto. Licensee Exhibit 1, 3 photos. Thank you.
Anthony Gambino Jr., Deke Inc., trading as Chabello Restaurant, 232-36 High Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.14A, small a, live entertainment without authorization on June the 8th, 2017. Please come forward.
Everyone raise their right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and information and belief?
I do.
Your Honor, if I may, Thomas Akris, Deputy Executive Secretary on behalf of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. Our preliminary. Your Honor, we would ask for a postponement in this matter as Inspectors Assistant Chief Inspector Karanakolis and Inspector Trent Martin are unavailable for the hearing today, and they are both the only agency's fact witnesses.
Has it been postponed previously
Yes, Your Honor.
at the request of the board?
It was requested postponed on behalf of the agency because an inspector was unavailable at that previous time for the hearing.
Do you object to the postponement, Mr. Gambino?
No, sir.
No objection?
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll grant the postponement. We'll reset it.
Okay.
Okay. Is that the full docket then, Mr. Page?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's the last of the PM docket. The board is in recess until Thursday, August the 10th, 2017, 11 a.m.
Thank you.